Speaking of having kind of a pulse on the community here, I've noticed a lot of your campaign signs. Is that what they're called, campaign
Campaign
signs?
signs, yeah.
In a lot of yards. And we were talking before we came on the show about how you've been doing a lot of meet and greets. And tell me a little bit about that.
Well, as of today, I think I have 17 different people that have invited me into their homes to meet their friends and neighbors. I have one scheduled for tomorrow night. I have one for Friday. I have 4 next week for different people all over town that have asked me to come into their home and present why I should be the next mayor. And all of them have been amazingly successful. I really am honored by all the people that have been willing to step up and join my team and help me become the next mayor of Modesto.
About how many people attend your meet and greets? Or is 500?
No,
does it vary?
The smallest that from that have been hosted by another person is about 15. Most of them are around 20 to 25. I've had 40.
So it's kind of more of a more personal.
Yeah, these are in people's homes
Okay.
with their friends and neighbors. I've had some larger campaign planned events. So we did something at the museum 2 weeks ago, had over 150 people there. We had a couple large fundraisers with 200 and up to 200. And then I had a personal one at my home. Really, my kickoff was almost 300 people.
Wow.
Which was, I had somebody that had been in publishing, had worked for the Bee for a long time at the event. He said he'd never seen anything like that on a local election level.
Now, when you have these meet and greets, are they question and answer, or is it just kind of sit down dinner?
No, it's normally they'll have some little snacks to snack on. Usually they give me 15 to 20 minutes to tell why I should be the guy. And then I open it up for questions for another 15 or 20 minutes and answer any question that comes up.
What are some of the questions that they ask you?
Why do you want to be mayor?
Why are you doing this?
What possessed you to be mayor? It's a tough job. It is a tough job.
That's what I'm
I
hearing.
understand that. Yeah, we've had some real difficulties with the economy, but I believe it's time to rebuild the city, and I think I'm the guy to lead that forward. I've been a leader in my business, so that's one. What's your background? What do you bring? Some of the questions you've been asking already, I think, are perfect questions that need to be answered and put forward. What makes me different? And that's been one of the real ones. Originally I was asked by a friend of mine. He said he had a real dilemma. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend with the other candidates, and he goes, "How do I pick? Why you?" And it made me step back and really look at and answer that question. What do I bring to the table that the other candidates don't have?
It's not like you can just go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You have to make an intelligent, discerning decision.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to answer that question to the people when I sit down with them. And so that intimate, 20 to 30 people works really well.
Well, tell me, why is it that you are the guy? What is it that sets you apart in that race?
I've talked about a couple of them. Number one, being a veteran, understanding, serving our country when the country needed it. The fact that I am a successful small businessman for a long time, 25 years. It's not like I started my business last year or something. Right. And I hire 55 people. I have 55 employees right now. So it's not a real small business. I give my employees health care, both for my full-time and my part-time employees. I do a 401k for my employees with a match.
There are going to be people out there knocking on your door asking for a job.
and I have very, very low turnover in my business. I have people that have worked for me for almost 35 years now. Yeah. I have a profit sharing from my company, and the one thing that I give my employees that I think is almost unique on a company my size is I pay for tuition to anybody going to college while they work for me.
Nice.
So I bring that as a small businessman. My reach within the community, my understanding that we talked about that, over 7,000 employees. The fact that I really have the educational background that I think really prepares me for this job. I think that's another one. And I think that I am the only one that has a true and proven commitment to preserving our ag land and growing our city up and not out. And I have ideas on how we can make that work and how that can happen.
How is that shown in the past 8 years?
Well, first of all, I've worked at the city level of changing our structure down there so that we have today one of the few cities in the country. There's only about 150 out of all the cities in the country that have form-based codes, and I push to have that done. And form-based codes can save up to a year on the timeline to get a project done downtown. You don't have to go through zoning laws and zoning changes for commercial, retail, office, condo, apartment. Whatever you want to build within that group is allowed.
So those form-based codes are kind of expediting the progress?
Totally. I mean, before you had to go turn your plans in, get a PD, go to the planning commission, get that approved, then it'd have to go to the city, and that every one of those takes 2 or 3 months. And for a large project, it could save them millions of dollars. So that's one. The second one is 3 years ago, I sponsored, along with a friend of mine, the stamp out sprawl at the county level. And it took the county out of the housing development business. And cities no longer have to look over their shoulder and wonder if the county's going to come in and put a housing complex right on the side of your city. Like we have all the county islands all through Modesto, especially on our south and west side, that are old county areas that are underdeveloped. The infrastructure's terrible, and it's a problem today that we have very difficult ways of fixing, and that's really due to the county development in the past. The county developed Salida back in the early 90s, and it really was part of the cause of our failure of Village 1. And I blame that housing there. The county today has a problem with Salida. They don't have enough money to pay for it, and it's a real struggle for the county in that area. So they don't belong in. They always say, "Well, we're not in the housing business. We don't want to." But then they go build some more. They build some more in Salida. They build some more in Keys and other areas. And so Stamp Out Sprawl, Measure E in 2008, passed with 75% of the people of Modesto voting in favor of passing Measure E. And it took the county out of the housing development and sprawl. And so that was mine.